All right. So again, we're saying if we are at the origin, which is where x equals 0 and y also equals 0, and we move anywhere along the x-axis, for example, 4 to the left, our new coordinates become -4 on the, which is for the x-axis, and 0 on the y-axis. What if we moved, we're going back to the origin, and we're gonna move 8 to the right? Our new coordinates become what? +8 and 0, and we know that the +8 represents the x-axis and the 0 represents the, so we can safely say that when y equals 0, it will be somewhere along the x-axis, right? When y equals 0, it will be this is the line y equals 0. The x-axis represents the line y equals 0. So, all right. So remember, if we're breaking up or anything like that, that's an issue with the internet. All right. So if we are now to change it up now and move up, let us see what happens when we move up. What do we see happening? All right, but remember, we always read the x-axis first to make sure we don't confuse ourselves. So it would be 0 on the x-axis and 3 on the y-axis. And we notice the 3 is what? Positive or negative? The 3 is positive. So when we know when we move up, or a positive y value represents moving up. Going back to the origin, and we are going to move down a little. What do we notice happening? 0 on the x-axis and -5 on the y-axis. Very good. All right. Just a second. I'm going to switch over to me. Just a second. Hold your question. I'm coming right back to you. All right. So what I did was I switched my audio device to my phone just to make sure that the recording is clear and has audio in it. Yes, go ahead. Somebody had a question. I'm sorry, go again. Oh, you mean your Cartesian plane? Remember, all of this is referred to as the Cartesian plane, all right? So the x-axis with the y-axis and all the grid lines, all of it referred to as the Cartesian plane. So what happened is, because you are using a cell phone, correct? You would have to adjust the settings. I will show you how to do that. I'll probably make a tutorial on it so you can learn. But there are little features on there that will allow you to, for example, get more numbers on your x-axis or your y-axis. And there are some features that can remove the grid lines and all of that. Just I'm going to drop I'm going to create a WhatsApp group so that you guys can drop your concerns there, and if we can't cover it in class, I'll make a video on it and post it for you. All right? All right, very good. So again, we notice that movement on the y-axis, when our point is plotted on the y-axis, we realize what happens with the x value. What happens with the x value? The question is, yes, I heard your response. Thanks for responding. The question is, if you notice, we were at the origin, right? And when we move from the origin down, remaining on the y-axis, for example, down to -3, we notice that what happens? The x value remains 0. So we can say from this that the line x equals 0 is what? The line x equals 0 is represented by which line? Would it be the, yes, very good. The line x equals 0 is represented by the y-axis. And we said that the line y equals 0 is represented by which axis? The x-axis. So anywhere along the x-axis, y equals 0. And anywhere along the y-axis, x equals 0. You definitely want to jot that down, guys. That's a very important piece of information. Very, very important. All right. So going back to the origin now, we are going to learn how to plot points using the information that we just learned. Now, take for example the point. I'm gonna write it in the left hand corner. You can see it over here, right? All right. So take for example the point 5, 4. The 5 represents movement on which axis? And what direction would we go in? Right, so I'm gonna do that. Remember, we start at the origin. We always start at the origin, which is where we're at now. And now we say we're moving 5 places to the right. That will take us there. Correct? Right. And then the other point would be what? The 4, right? The 4 represents movement on the y-axis. And what direction are we moving in? Up or down? How do we know it's up? Because it's a positive y value. So our positive y value will move how many places up? 4 places up. So you realize now that our A, which is our original point, it is now at the coordinate 5 on the x-axis and 4 on the y-axis. We're going back to our origin now. I'll leave it. So we'll keep A as our original point, and then we will have the other points that we plot so that I can download the document and upload it as well for you to use at your own leisure. All right. So if we have now, for example, the point 6, let's use a negative value for x. So -6 and 2, right? -6, 2. -6 represents movement on which axis? X-axis. And in what direction? Left. So we'll go 6 places to the left from the origin. Remember, it always has to be from the origin. And then the +2 represents movement in what direction? Up on the y-axis. So we'll go 2 places up from +6, because that's why the x movement is first, because you move from the origin to the x value, and then you move from the x value to the y value. So we'll get -6, 2. So I'll put that into the input so that the computer will plot it as well. All right. So we get that one, right? Going back to the origin with our A. All right, remember to keep your mics muted, please, guys. And then when you're responding, you can open it. All right. So there is another way to look at how you plot points. and I will use it for this next example. Both ways will give you the same result, but you know that different persons learn in different ways. And so I will demonstrate this other way to you, which we would have spoken about in the last class. So if we have the coordinates 4, -3, right? We know that the 4 represents which axis? The x-axis, and it's to the right, where we would move to the right, correct? But here's another way we can look at it. We can look at it as identifying identifying the line x equals 4, which would be right here. This would be the line. Remember to mute your mics, please, guys. Forgive my not so straight line. This app doesn't have a ruler function. All right, so that's the line x equals 4, right? All right, and then the other coordinate was what? It was -3. -3, right? All right. So since our other coordinate was -3, we will find the line y equals -3, which would be this line. You know, it's the bold line. Again, forgive my freehand drawing. This one doesn't have a ruler function. All right. And then now what would happen is our point would be right where the two lines intersect. So our point would be right here, right? All right. All these. All right. So never mind all these things on our right. We know that we're only focusing on the J. And we know that J would equal to 4 -3. It's not quite accurate, um, as it is given over here, but we get the basic idea. So what happened to mine is that you have to get it directly on the bold line of x equals 4, and on the bold line of y equals -3, and then right in the center of where they intersect, that's where your point will form. So that's the other perspective on how you plot a point. All right, everybody's there? All right, so I'm gonna save this document so we can upload it. We can uh, actually, I'm gonna download it just to make sure, and then I will upload it to the classroom so you can take a look at it if you would like to. I will also, so we're gonna plot the points for a shape together, and then that will basically culminate the lesson. All right, so I'm gonna use a new document now. All right, so if we say, for example, this is gonna be our question. A triangle has points A, B, C, D with coordinates A, 3, -4, B, 3, 0, and C, -4, 4. Plot the points of triangle. Triangle has how many points, guys? A, B, C. So it shouldn't be triangle A, B, C, D, but it should be triangle A, B, C. All right, so this is our question, right? So just take a snap, take note of the coordinates so you can remind us when we're plotting it. All right? So I give you 30 seconds to take note of the coordinates that are there. Just no, you don't have to write it up, but just take note so that when we are plotting it, you can remember the points. All right, so let's go now. So our first point is 3, -3, right? Thank you. 3, -4. Very good. You're paying attention. Excellent. Anybody remembers how I got the excellent. All right, so our first point is 3, -4. So we know we'll go the positive 3 represents what? X-axis, and what direction is it gonna be? Right. So we'll go 3 to the right from the origin. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. It's only going up or down. Oh, yeah. All right, there we go. So the key is you have to put the point out somewhere outside of the origin first, and then you can drag it to where you want it to be. So starting at the origin, we'll go 3 places to the right. And then now the -4 represents movement on what axis? The y-axis, and it's going in what direction? Excellent. So we'll go 4 places down, and remember it is from where x equals 3, right? And have we gotten our point 3, -4? Very good. No, that was our point A. What was point B? So we'll start from our origin again. And the positive 3 represents movement on the, and it's movement to the right. Very good. So we'll go 3 places to the right. And then it's positive 3, 0. So what does the 0 mean at the y? Stay on which line? Excellent. Muy bien, estudiante. So the 0 in the x value means that it is somewhere along the x-axis. So it is simply wherever on the x-axis the x value falls. Because we know that the line y equals 0 is which line again? Very good. You are getting it. Brilliant. All right. So we have now plotted our point 3, 0. And now our next point is -4, 4. And the -4 represents movement in what direction? To the left. And this is on what axis? The x-axis. Very good. So from our origin, we're going 4 units to the left. And then the +4 represents movement up on the y-axis. So from -4 on the x-axis, we will go +4 or up on the y-axis. And this gives our triangle. We can wait. We can connect the dots. Uh-oh. What was this one? A was 3, -4. Oh man, these things are right. Forgive me for the accuracy, guys. All right, there we go. So we have plotted our triangle. All right, so I'm gonna give you one that you will do for yourself. I'm downloading it as well so that you can have it. All right, this one is gonna be yours now to do on your own. A quadrilateral All right, that one is yours to do.